I remember once coming to a rehearsal on a set, and the lead actor of the project, I was standing with them and I said, I was thinking, and they said, yeah, don't do that. Don't think here. You're not here to think. And I was so taken aback. Hi.
Welcome to Ray.
Thanks.
How are you?
I'm really well, thank you.
Good. I mean, congratulations, because the 688 is my favorite kind of movie about women reclaiming their voice and their story, inspiring,
Yes.
and also taking it back from the patriarchal way we tell our history. That is what we need more of. That's what we love on our screens.
I mean, drop the mics. We're done here.
We're done. We've pitched the movie.
Amazing.
Go
Thank
watch
you.
it. Pop that on your poster.
Yes.
Great. How much joy did it bring you to bring this story back to life?
I feel so excited and so proud to be bringing this story to people. So many people, when they hear about the film, they're like, how did I not know? How did I not know that there was this regiment of 855 women of color that went overseas in World War II and did this crazy, heroic act?
Yeah.
It's so thrilling to be able to give people a piece of real history, and with that history, as you've said, comes so much hope and inspiration and encouragement at a time where I feel like people really need it. So I'm really excited and really proud of the film.
And did you meet some of the surviving members?
Yeah.
And what was that experience like, and what did that really teach you?
So before we started filming, Tyler and Oprah actually put together a Zoom
Casual.
where we got to, just some friends of mine, some billionaire mogul friends, put together a Zoom where we got to meet some of the surviving members. And then I got to talk to one of the women who is still alive, Miss Roday, and she actually was one of Charity Adams' drivers in the Army, so she
Wow.
knew Charity really well. I didn't get to meet Charity Adams, who I play in the film, but she did write a memoir that I devoured again and again, and I feel like I almost memorized it. It was like living inside me, and I always had it on set. I had my script and my memoir with me all the time. I just recently got to meet Miss Anna Mae Robinson in Milwaukee. She's one of the only 2 living members now.
One of the incredible things about Charity is that she really symbolizes leadership.
Yeah.
And strong leadership. And you are a leader on screen and off screen. What have you learned about the true power of leadership?
I think Charity Adams has taught me so much about effective leadership because she had really high expectations for these women. She was stern, she was strict, she was tough, but they trusted her and they loved her. And when I tried to get to the bottom of why, it was because she was really authentic. She told them the truth. She was honest with them. And even though she was stern, it always came with a lot of love and compassion and grace. She cared so deeply for them. And I think that kind of leadership is impossible to not follow. When you feel like somebody is asking the best of you because they love you and they want the best for you, that is just so inspiring.
Yeah, it totally is. And I think also that must change the way that you've approached leadership going forward as well, right?
It has. It definitely, I on set, because I am both in the film but also an executive producer, and I felt like it was partly my job to help to cultivate that sense of unity and community on set. But I did not have the stern approach that Charity Adams did. But that same desire for these young women to win. As an executive producer, one of the things I'm most proud of is presenting a film to the world where we're introducing you to so much new talent, these incredibly beautiful and talented young women of color who represent characters who come from all over the country with all different accents and belief systems and personalities, and they're all so shiny and bright and beautiful and inspiring in their own ways. So, particularly Ebony, and I'm so proud of them, and I think I did really pour into some of that kind of maternal style that Charity Adams had without the kind of strict, stern part of it. I didn't yell at them a lot. I'm not a yeller, really. In fact, it's funny, like even my kids, when they saw the trailer for the film, they were like, whose voice is that? Because I don't speak that way at home. I don't speak that way anywhere. But that was also part of what Tyler and I really wanted to do. We felt like in order to honor these women, like I've been really lucky to play some very iconic women, whether it's Olivia Pope or Broomhilda von Schaft or Anita Hill. But I felt like, okay, if I'm going to play this character, nobody can be thinking about Olivia Pope or Broomhilda or Kerry Washington. They have to just be thinking about Charity Adams. So Tyler really helped me to kind of explore my instrument, my toolbox as an actor, and find a version of my voice that I'd never used before, a posture, a way of walking that I'd never taken on before, because I thought, okay, to respect the legacy of these women, people need to only be thinking about them. So I have to do something I've never done before on screen.
Yeah, and it's unlocking a new power within you through them, right?
I guess, although I haven't been able to take it anywhere. Like, my kids would be like, whatever.
Okay, Mom.
Yeah, fall in line.
We're going to do it
whatever.
anyway.
Exactly.
Because you are such an incredible leader for building those kind of very amazing, inclusive sets. Is there an example of poor leadership that you've seen that's inspired you to become the leader that you really needed?
Oh, I don't want to name names. But I think I have been witness to leadership styles that I haven't wanted to embody and take on. I remember once coming to a rehearsal on a set, and the lead actor of the project, I was standing with them, and I said, I was thinking, and they said, yeah, don't do that. Don't think here. You're not here to think. And I was so taken aback, because I thought, oh, aren't we here to be creatively collaborative and help each other and throw ideas around? So I always try to create an environment where I feel like I want to create an environment where people feel like they can be creatively courageous and take risks and bring new ideas and step into their own leadership.
Yeah.
Because I want people, in the way that Charity Adams really wanted each of these young women to bring her gift forward, like, what are you good at? What's your area of expertise? That's when they start winning, is when Charity Adams stops trying to solve it all on her own and realizes, like, these women have insight and gifts of their own. I want to empower them to be their full selves.
Yeah.
So I think that is the kind of leader I try to be, and that's definitely the kind of leader that Tyler Perry is.
And teamwork is such a big thing in this. And I feel like teamwork has really defined your career in so many ways. When you look at the Gladiators from Scandal to this, when has teamwork really lifted you up? And when have you leaned on teamwork the most?
I think teamwork is so important. Like, people are always saying, like, how do you do it all? You're so, you're a wife and a mom and an actor and a producer and a director and your philanthropy and your activism and you're a writer. And for me, the only way I can do it is because I'm part of a team of people who are extraordinary in their own right. And I don't try to do all the things all the time in the best way. I really try to surround myself with people who are extraordinary at what they do. And then I ask them to step into their greatness and bring all of their talents to bear so that we can kind of all rise together.
It's so interesting you say that, because I think if we were sat across from a man right now, they would never, ever, ever be asked about their leadership style and what it's like to balance being a mother, being a parent. That never happens.
I actually wish, like, I often think it is crazy because of our double standard in society that we ask women how they balance it all and we don't necessarily ask men. But I also think we do ourselves a great disservice, because one of the great multitaskers in my life that I've witnessed is my husband. He does an amazing job balancing being an actor, a producer, a writer, a dad, a husband. Tyler Perry is an extraordinary multitasker. He's a producer, a director, an actor, a dad. I mean, he also does it all. So we have so much to learn from the men in our lives who multitask. And I think by not leaning into the awareness of how good men can be at it too, we don't get to share our secret weapons.
When are you proudest of using your voice?
I think in some ways I'm most proud of using my voice when it's not comfortable, because that's often when it matters the most. And I'm often proudest to use my voice when it's not just for me. Like, it's one thing, it's important to advocate for ourselves, especially as a Black woman. It's important for me to advocate for myself. That's a big part of my journey. But I think it's also important, I think it's Ava DuVernay who says, like, if your dreams are just for you, they're not big enough. And I think that's true of your activism too. If it's just for you, it's not big enough.
That's so powerful, because I just had Cynthia Revo on the podcast.
Who I love.
And we spoke about the power of dreaming big in a world that loves to put limitations on people.
Yes, that's why you defy gravity, right? That's the whole point. I've been talking about this a lot because I just was blessed and honored to receive a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Let's just take a moment.
Insane. It's insane.
It's incredible.
When they lifted up the cover and I saw my name in stone, I was like, oh my gosh, this is really happening. It was so crazy. But the truth is, it wasn't really a dream of mine. It was a dream of my dad's. It's something that my dad has wanted for me for so long. And I think leading up to the event, I was just thinking about him, and I was so excited that he and my mom could be there and that I could honor them in the speech and in the moment and that they were present. But I also realized I'm so lucky to have a dad that at times has had the courage to dream bigger than I dream for myself, because it helps propel me forward. So I think we have to dream big, and we have to surround ourselves with people who dream big with us and for us. Sometimes we think about the people who we're closest to in our lives as the people we go to when things are bad. But I think also we need to remember that who we go to when things are good, those are the people who we really trust, right? Because not everybody can be happy for you when you're in your bag, right? And so the people that we go to when we have things to celebrate and we feel safe celebrating with them, those are also indicators of the people that we're closest to.
Oh my God, that's so true. And it's also so amazing to achieve your dreams when you've had to really prove people wrong too, which can be the most satisfying thing. And when I was watching this, I was like, Charity must have been like, when she literally did it in 90 days, sold all this mail out.
Right?
Has there been a moment where you've been so satisfied to prove someone wrong?
I agree with you. I think I just want to say I love that they did it in 90 days, because we have this expression that, women and Black women in particular, we always have to be twice as good. So they were literally twice as good. They were given 6 months and they were like, half. We'll do that in half the time. So I love that. And I do think you've touched on something that's so important about the film, because it is about these particular Black women in this particular time and place, this specific moment in history. But I think the film resonates with anybody, anywhere, who has ever been underestimated or doubted or pushed aside, or anybody even who's doubted themselves, because these women face that too. They begin to doubt their own capacity. But the film, I think, says, ignore the doubt within you, ignore the doubt that's coming your way. You have the opportunity and the power to meet the mission of your life, whatever that is, whatever it looks like. So I think that happens all the time in life for me. I think there's tiny little steps all along the way. Maybe the first one I think of is when Scandal first aired. Everybody talked about it, literally talked about it as a risk to have a Black woman as the lead of a network drama, because it hadn't happened in almost 40 years. And I was in my 30s at the time, so it hadn't happened in my lifetime. And people didn't think it would work. So I was so proud that it worked. But also I wasn't proud of myself. I wasn't like, oh, I'm amazing. I was like, oh.
But you are.
I was like,
Let's take a moment.
audiences are amazing, right? Because audiences showed up. Audiences tuned in record numbers to say, we want to see heroes that look like us. And then a bunch of audience members tuned in to say, we want to see heroes that don't look like us. We're open to our heroes and our protagonists looking like everybody. And so that's why the show worked. So I was really proud that we went from being a risk to being a mandate at every television network. After that, everybody was like, what's our show with a woman of color in the lead? What are we? And even at ABC, there were more shows with women of color at the center. So that is really exciting.
The satisfaction of that is just amazing. We talk a lot about coming of age moments, but coming of power can happen at any time.
Oh, that's good.
In your life.
That's good.
When do you think you had your coming of power moment?
I can think of a few, because I think it's important to remember that we can continue evolving in life. We don't have to come of power and stop. We can keep unpacking and unfolding new levels of power. But I think one of the most pivotal moments for me in stepping into my sense of self was when I wrote my memoir last year, Thicker Than Water, and I went all over the world talking to people about it and came here, and that moment was really important for me because I was coming forward with truths about myself that I had been really afraid of, that my family had been really afraid of, and stepping into my willingness to be fully transparent and say, I'm not going to hide who I am and I'm not going to hide who we are. I think there's power in disclosure, and I really do think we are as sick as our secrets, and I want to heal. So that was a real turning point for me.
And the 6888 is also about the power of communication.
Yes.
And that is also what you're talking about, which is about having difficult conversations sometimes. Yes. Is there a great chat that's really changed you and really taught you the power of communication?
I really think we don't place enough importance on daily communication, on every interaction that we have with people. I feel like every interaction is an opportunity to have somebody feel seen or ignored in their humanity. So I think I really do try to think about how I communicate all the time. I think maybe, again, this conversation with my parents, not to be repetitive, but when my parents disclosed my biology, that my dad was not my biological father, I think that conversation was really transformative for me and for them.
Yeah. We always end on one final question,
Okay.
Kerry, and that is, in the reign of your life, what's the one rule you'll always live by?
I don't know about always, but for now, the rule that feels really important, and I hope one that will stay with me for a long time, is to take the time to be in touch with my own truth. Like to take the time to be in relationship to my deepest sense of truth. That it feels like my relationship with the world needs to begin with my relationship with myself and making sure that I'm good there.
Because you have to look after yourself.
Yeah.
Especially in these times where we're not maybe very hopeful at the moment. It's important to take that time out to yourself, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think to slow down, to know what my heart wants, what my instincts are, so that when I'm making choices throughout the day, throughout my life, that they're coming from a deeper sense of connection to spirit. And I think that deeper knowing is also kind of where I practice my spiritual life. And so to take time to be listening for spirit, listening to intuition, listening to my deeper inner best truth self.
Because we talk a lot about the power of feeling seen. And sometimes the most important thing is to truly
See yourself.
see yourself.
Yeah.
And also hear yourself. Be
Yes.
heard.
Yes.
Well, I think this story is going to make a lot of people feel seen, a lot of people feel heard, a lot of people feel so inspired. And thank you for bringing it to our screens. And you're just incredible. So
Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time.
so much for this lovely chat.
Oh my God, I loved it. I was like, oh my God, I felt like I was in an incubator of empowerment. I was like,
Yay.
I'm coming out of this like 2025, get ready.
Do it.
We're coming for you.